South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. South Florida's ultimate resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught, and we're also going to go over your future marine forecast, moon phase, and tide charts. Everything you need to know to help keep you in the bite, locally, that is. Before we get into this, though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, with just exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. So let's go. Folks, you might notice something different. Maybe you're seeing the show a little bit more clearer now. We have upgraded on our streaming platform. We found something that won't break the bank for the first year at least. After that, we'll have to go with it from there. But anyway, let's talk fishing, right? We got a weird weather thing going on also. There is what's called Invest 93. It's going to hit over the state tonight and into tomorrow. It's going to bring lots of rain for the rest of the week, but that will clear out the weekend. Anyway, let's talk fishing, right? Here we go. We're going to start with some inshore stuff. We got the Queen of Up North Skinny Water. This is Marlo Kennedy Aleva. Yes, got it right. Didn't butcher her name. I've said it 100 times. Here she is with a nice redfish out there on the paddleboard, getting it done in that skinny water. Like I said, man, always, sending in shots, different species that she catches in the skinny water up there out in the bush. All right, good job. Thank you for always participating. All right, let's look what else we got. I know I got a spearfish hog, nice size hogfish. This is from Gavin Smith. Shot this out of Port Everglades, and that's a solid hogfish for, hey, how you doing, big lake, little boat? Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for correcting me on the, we'll get to it, the trout salmon debacle. That's me for you. Thanks for showing up and saying hi, boss. Anyway, yes, this is a good sized hogfish for these waters. That's, it's not giant, but it's not typical of what you see every day around. And yet he speared that bad boy. So awesome shot, and some delicious dinner for you, Gavin. Thanks, Gavin, for contributing. Really appreciate it. So we're going to keep on with some inshore stuff, if there is any. No. Okay. Yes, we've got some comedians in the feed this week too. Anyway, the big thing also, we had our 2-day red snapper event, right? So this is Captain Alex in Alaska, salmon fishing. So, when he gets back, he's captain down. If you're in the vicinity and you need a captain, go on ahead and take a look. Here is Brian, big lake, little boat. So he corrected me. I thought this was a salmon. This is a trout. Yes, there's all sorts of different trouts and everything. And this lady's got taking home some meat. Good deal. Great. And Brian, again, thank you for correcting me and contributing, making adding some flavor to the show. I appreciate it. There we go. Nice catch and good job. Let me see if he said what type it was, because I know he did. Bear with me. I want to get this out. Yes, this here is a steelhead trout. There, I feel better. Good, bro. Florida fishing is insane. Tons of different species. Doesn't leave some salmonoid. Hey, I like that salmonoid. Steelhead trout. There we go. We've gotten past it. Awesome. All right, let's go on with the. We'll talk reef fishing. Let's see. We got Joshua Frazier. He is out there. He's got a little bit of everything here. If we take a look at this cooler, we got a couple of red snapper, a kingfish, and a dolphin. Unless I'm crazy and those are mutton snappers and I'm not seeing the dot. Now those are reds. So he got into the bite real good. A little bit of everything going on in that cooler, right? We call that a little buffet going on. Where the dolphin came up from, I don't know. And hey, Lord knows, should it matter? Here we go, Dean. Dean said it was not happening offshore Saturday for us, so they moved in shallow and they had fun beating up on the Jack Crevalle. Hey, good job. Awesome, solid backup plan. It's not happening. Let's go find out go do something else, get the kiddos to have some fun, and that's what he did. And that's definitely a solid jack right there. That'll give you a workout and a half. And, if you ever want to keep them, you can just throw them on the smoker. It kind of kills the gaminess of it. All right, let's see. What other inshore stuff do we have? Not much. Like I said, the thing's still pelagics. We got some mahi still floating around there, obviously, but they're hard to find. All right, this is Chuck Parker. Caught these Thursday out of Boynton, 200 feet, right? So you don't need to go halfway to the Bahamas to get these, the mahi, obviously. He got them at 200 feet on some little patch reefs, I believe he said. The mutton were biting good. He said a bunch of non-keepers, but he ended up with one. So right there, and obviously the false albacore are in full-blown effect. If you're like me and you're just horrible at fishing, you won't be able to catch those. The last 3 times I've been out, I have not had a bonita bite. It's rare, but hey, I'll take it, man. I'll take anything over them because I don't need the bait. All right, here we go. Let's keep going on. Carlos. Palm Beach, 200 feet on a live sardine. Nice sailfish. I saw a bunch of sailfish this week. Sailfish are out there. So, if you're into that sort of fishing, having some fun wrangling them, get on there. Get some light tackle out and go do it. Carlos, awesome submission. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at a couple of red snappers. Here we go. There's also, pardon me, a beeliner, which is a vermilion and a lane snapper in there. But hey, went out, took advantage. This is Saturday from Derek, and then this is, that was Sunday. I'm sorry. Was that? That was Sunday. This was Saturday. So he went out and took advantage of the 2-day free-for-all when it comes to getting in on the red snapper bite. Hey, congratulations for finding them and, taking advantage of that short window of opportunity. Todd Prince off of Palm Beach. Yes, he runs charter too. Nice wahoo. Found a wahoo. Right on that moon phase. Fishing that moon phase. Didn't get much detail about it, but still, hey, good to go with the wahoo. Thank you, Todd, for your submission. All right, here we go. Joshua. Nice couple of nice jumbo-sized red snappers. So again, folks, they're taking advantage of this 2-day window that they had, and people went out there and got it done. All right, Michael with a gag grouper. Day late and $1 short, but you throw them back, they'll be 5 times that size by the time you go to get them next year. Nice catch. He said he sent them back down and good to go. Even let them grow for next week, or I'm sorry, next year. Here we go. Jason Reese, Guggen the Pro Offshore Angler YouTube channel. All right, let's see. He said his wife's family was in town visiting from Michigan. They got in about 30 to 40 minutes before everyone got sick. This was this past Friday out of Hillsboro. They trolled from Hillsboro, got up to Boca, and decided to go in and hang out in Lake Boca. These fish were caught between 180 and 210 on surface lures and bonita strips and the artificial nita strips that he uses behind zoom witches on number 4s and number 6 planers. There you go. He said he got the king in 200, which is a little deep for kings, but I mean, pardon me. It's not rare. Listen, I caught kingfish out in the 300s. I caught kingfish on the swordfish grounds out in 1,600 feet, trying to catch whatever would be out there, dolphin, swordfish, anything. And, for the kingfish out there are 40s and 50s. They are not the lightweights that you catch on a reef. You run into a kingfish out there, it's jumbo most of the time. Anyway, Jason, appreciate the submission. They got a black fin, they got a skipjack, and a nice meaty king. So, hey, taking out the family, getting it done, and, unfortunately they got sick, but hey, they were able to look at what they pulled in 30 minutes. That is awesome. All right, let's keep going. John Stedding, I work with his pappy, the Colonel, Richard. And they go out and they are dialed in on the blackfin. I mean, getting the jumbo and down to, this is not a football. He ran into him. So, they limited out 2 people on the boat, 4 blackfin. Good to go. John, thank you for submission. Thad, down in the Keys, I believe. Took a 2-day trip down there. That's a nice little peanut, you know, let him go, get you a picture, and good to go. Let me see what else he's got. He sent in another one. Yes. Fun weekend down in Key Largo, like you said. Lots of schoolie dolphin, you know, tiny, obviously. Half a dozen blackfin, which is good, and a couple of muttons, and way too many kudas, he says. Yes, it is that time of year. You know, bonitas and kudas, folks. You know, you got to work your way through them. He fished from 85 feet all the way out to 2,000, looking for the dolphin, of course, way out there. All right, but hey, look at these couple solid muttons. So, you know, hey, great time out on the water. You got to get out there. There was a nice window of weather opportunity and made it happen. Dad, thank you. Jim, 4J's Charters out of Boynton Beach. Nice sailfish. Look at this. Jim was up in Alaska. I'm thinking he's back. If he is, cool, great. Listen, if you are in Boynton Beach and you're looking for a charter, give Jim a holler. You're going to get out there and get this amberjack, the tuna, the mahi, all a plethora of fish. He's got a, you know, a huge arsenal of tactics to make happen. If you you know, if you're looking to make it happen, and him playing captain, he's going to put you and make the best decisions and get you on some great fish just like this. Jim of 4J's Charters. If you find him, give me a holler. I can put you in touch with him. Mike Bayless. He said he fished a tournament, which we'll get to. I can show you all this stuff. They caught 3 sailfish. This is a whopper sailfish. He said this was about 90 inches. His daughter's first sailfish. Great catches, and they ended up with some bonita too. Nothing tournament entry wise that they can do, but hey, it happens. You know, man, when you go to fish these tournaments, you could have great years. The day of the tournament, you get skunked. You're my favorite person on the show. Thank you. Hit that like button, slackers. Thank you. Anyway, here we go. Mike, great catch, and I'll get back to him in a second. Here's Mike, another Mike out of Orlando. They went up, I'm not sure. It looks like I see the Jupiter lighthouse in the background. I could be wrong. Went out and did the 2-day red snapper fishing. Got it done. This is his son, Caden. They did a great job. I mean, you know, solid couple of days. Get out there and get that red snapper. People are always itching for that 2-day window. All right, let's see what else we got. This is DMA Nikolai. Nice catfish this morning in Finger Lakes in NYS. Help me out with that locale. I'm not sure. Anyway, hey, perfect. A first for him up there. Nice catfish. Some dinner. They're going to have a fish fry with that. Yes. And like I said, the silliness has entered the feed. Thank you. I was actually speechless with this because if you look right here, it says 25-pound cobia caught off Lake Worth in 70 feet. Okay. Is this even a cobia? I mean, it kind of looks like one, but I don't see the white on the side, and there's no way this is 25 pounds. Oh man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. What's up, Heath? Love your channel. Probably the most informative content on YouTube. Hey, Mr. Nolan. Well, it's Nolan Excavating. I'm sorry, that's a company. Hey, I truly appreciate it. Thank you. I try to keep us all informed so that we can get out there and get some fish. Orlando launched the boat the day before for red snapper. The day it's that's like I agree with you right there. That's like the mini lobster season down here. If you're not out there at midnight, and then FWC and everyone is all over the place. Anyway, back to this picture. I mean, if anybody's got any, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm just like anyone, a good sense of humor. So, you know. All right. Yeah. There we go, folks. Yeah, so that's what our fishing looks like, right? We got a few mahi left. Bonitas are in town. Barracudas are in town. Snapper fishing is definitely fired up, right? The yellowtails, the mutton snapper, the mangrove spawn still happening. It does look like a snakehead from where I was standing, but good Lord, I don't know. Hey, listen, I got better. We're now running in 1080, so you should be able to see it a little bit clearer. We fish out of Mobile Bay, Fort Morgan. Awesome. Hey, thanks for showing up to the show. I mean, it says South Florida saltwater fishing, but everybody's always invited. We're a loving family here, and hey, lots of people who visit tend to run into this channel periodically and take it for what it's, face value, what it's worth. We're just really, an informative thing, because I'm not you don't want to see me running around in a bikini. That's what it is. All right, Mike, let's get back to Mike. He did the tournament, right? So check this out. Nice sailfish right there. He said he caught 3 sailfish. There's the one they had hanging off. He said that some of the biggest bonita he's ever caught. So, hey, they're in a tournament. They're not nailing it, killing it the way it's supposed to be done with the fish that you can enter. But, hey, having a great time. Look at the smile on his face. Great dad. Proud dad moment right there. Excellent. All right. So that's right. We, Pedro and Anna. Hey, I was out on Friday at Palm Beach Inlet, 6:30 to 11:30. Bottom, tons of bonitas, trolled for 2 hours. He's in the same boat with everybody else who's commenting, right? Saying, they're out there and there's not much swimming around out there right now, which is that time of year. We're in a transition, right? We're going to start seeing different fish bite. Okay, so that's where we're at with that's where we're at with the fish, right, folks? It's time to start getting into the snapper fishing. The kingfish are biting. You're gonna have to work your way through the false albacore hangout up to 200. If you want to get away from albacore, you got to get out past 200. Now, the bonita, they hit topwater lures more often than not, but they will hit the planer. But so the key to trying to stay away from them is, double up on your planers and keep those topwater baits off. Otherwise, you're going to end up with the false albacore, and otherwise, you can head out past 200. Like I said, I literally the last 3 times I've been out, I've only trolled 1 rod. I've had a 4-6 planer. Actually, I've switched it out between a 4-6 and a 6. Ended up with a nice kingfish each time, and no false albacore bite. So, just a tip if you want to try and avoid them, but it's that time of year. And the barracuda too. They're just gonna, hey, if you catch eating size barracudas, throw them in the bucket. All right, let's start going over weather. Can anybody out there tell me if it's a little clearer than it has been? Because I literally just started paying for this service. We got rid of our little watermark that is usually up here that says StreamYard. Gone now. 1080. I don't know. Tell me, somebody give me a sign of life if it's better. If not, hey, it says it is, so I gotta have faith. That's all right. Let's start talking weather, right? We got this Invest 93, which is happening right now today. It's offshore. Let's see if we can pull it up. Let's zoom out here. So right here is Invest 93. It's going to go over the state this way tonight into tomorrow, and then it will curve down and end up somewhere in Louisiana as the day goes on. Now, the lower, further south it curves into the Gulf of America. The warmer the waters are, the more chance for increased development it has, right? But right now, it's just an area of low pressure right off to our east coast. As you can see, there's some nice disturbance. But for now, let's talk about what's going on with our weather, right? We got some rain happening, and all the rain that's been happening is from the development of. Okay, the business, right? This is windy. All the websites we're going to use are in the description. So if you need some sort of forecasting model website for your plan, you can go here. You can also, I picked and choose what I like to get off of Mike's weather page. It's a great page. Just type in Mike's weather page. It's a huge thing. It comes up. There's all sorts of great resources for weather on there. If you have never heard of it. All right. So Windy is also a great forecasting model because on the PC, if you want to, you click anywhere and it'll tell you the wind speed right here in the Tri-County area. We got 13 knots from the south. On a phone, you kind of just point your finger there and move around the screen where you want your cursor will end up, and then it'll tell you that exact information too. And like I said, all these websites are available in the description. Just copy, paste, and have at it. Down here, also, to find out in general what you're looking at wind-wise, wave-wise, rain collection-wise, there is a color-coded chart down at the bottom right here. So you see we got green right here, which is in between 10 and 20 knots. Okay, make it fair and simple for everyone trying to, that's just learning this. This is not for folks that are seasoned in there. We get new people that, run over to the channel periodically. I got to help them out. All right, so let's check out tomorrow morning, right? We're going to, like I said, we're looking at elevated winds. They're going to come from the southeast, and they're going to drag up, be pulled with the low pressure from this storm that is up near Jacksonville. It's in between Orlando and Jacksonville right now, and it's going to cross over the state. So in the coming days, we'll be given a break by the weather, but for now, we're in the thick of it. Okay, so here we go. This is tomorrow morning. We're looking at Tri-County area 6 from the southeast, and wind's going to be blowing. It's going to get bumpy out there, right? Lower Keys, we're looking at 13. It's about the same up and down the East Coast, all the way up into the West Coast too. They're getting it too. Like I said, they're going to be getting weather going all the way across the state. So the Tampa, St. Pete area guys, Skyway Pier fishermen that are hauling in the fish, and up here Apalachicola, these guys around in this area, Panama City, where they catch mahi off piers is great, but they're all getting weather. It's a small price to pay in paradise. I agree with you. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. The weather. We can change some things, but we can't change the weather. So more 15 knots plus in between. It settles down a little bit in the afternoon. Vero Beach area, you're still 13 knots. Tri-County area slows down to about 10. It's gonna be bumpy out there. We're moving water because of this storm. So remember, it's not always wind. When you get a system like this of low pressure, the atmosphere affects the rush of the water. That's just the way it works. Moon, wind, atmosphere, all that stuff. So Thursday morning, again, Tri-County area, 13 knots. So we're staying around 13, 14 in the general vicinity, up and down the coast. Lower Keys, 12 from the southeast. Upper Keys, 13 from the south. It's, it's low to mid double digits up and down the coast. That's Thursday afternoon. Looks like it wants to slow down a little bit. So this is Thursday, 2 days after the storm. And now coming these days after is going to drag a ton of moisture with it. So we're going to have an elevated chance Oh God, thank the Lord. So I pay for the subscription. Now all I have to do is upgrade my internet, even though I pay for the most internet that there is. I have to get a Wi-Fi extender or some. Never ends with doing live streams, folks. Oh yeah, I'm getting a microphone, by the way. So this it'll be here tomorrow. So next time we end up in this situation, hopefully we've got all these technical snafus handled. Wi-Fi extender, the microphones tomorrow. Man, we might be moving up in the world. All right, Thursday, Friday morning, right? Not much of a change in our wind speeds, right? 12 knots. The further up north you go, Vero Beach, they're looking at about 7 knots from the southeast. The storm has passed there on the backside of that. The Keys, they're getting ripped at 15 from the east. Friday afternoon, coming from the south, coming from the east, 9 knots, not bad. And it should, Keys still low double digits. Vero Beach, 8 knots. So it looks like it's kind of wanting to slow down a little bit. Saturday morning, let's go around 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Same thing. 9 knots from the east. So Friday afternoon, it looks like we're starting to have our live comments from viewers during your stream. Keep the conversation going and make your audience part of the experience. Let's see if it does it. Oh, hey. Let's see. Anyway. Yes. 6 knots. Looks like it's slowing down. I'm figuring out my live stream while we're here watching it. There should be comments somewhere. 7 knots, right, folks? This is Saturday afternoon. Stays about the same all day. Look, upper single digits, mid to upper single digits. Not bad. Down in the Keys, lower Keys, 10 knots. So like I said, starting Friday afternoon, the wind's going to start giving you a little break. Come Sunday, Sunday's looking again like the best day. We got 6 knots out of the east around Fort Lauderdale. St. Lucie, 4 knots. Palm Beach County, 2 knots. So like I said, starting Friday afternoon, the wind's going to let go. This storm will have really been past us. It will be in the Louisiana, the mainland by then, starting to peter out. So that's that. Down in the Keys, come Sunday, they're at 8 knots. Sunday afternoon, not much different, except the wind direction looks like it wants to change, and it'll pick up, with that onshore breeze in the afternoon. Monday morning, same thing, stays light work, especially with the passing of this storm. And yeah, that's what's happening with that. 5 knots Monday morning, not bad. Upper Keys, 7 from the east. So as we see, Sunday's looking like the best day, and the good weather tends to want to look like it's going to carry on into early next week. Monday afternoon, same stuff, lightweight, light stuff, gonna lay the seas down and let you get back out there, get on your boat with some pleasant seas. Same thing Tuesday morning, very light stuff, especially when you see this purple. Those are dead spots. So our wind shifting south, southeast, east, staying in a good direction. It would be nice if it would send some sizable mahi our way, but that's not going to happen. They're all about that big right now. I caught some this weekend, and they all went back in the drink. Anyway, upper Keys, lower Keys, 7 knots. Let's take a look here by Tampa. Dead in the water, 3 knots on the northwest, but that's really skinny water right there, right, folks? All right, Tuesday afternoon. Looks like it's picking up a little bit Tuesday afternoon, but not much change. It's nothing drastic, no storms coming through or nothing like that yet. So this is the time of year where we're going to have to continuously watch the tropics and see if something develops either in the Gulf or, soon we'll have the storms rolling off of the west coast of Africa towards us. And that's where we get, 4 or 5 storms in the tropics at one time. Anyway, so that's what we're looking at wind-wise. So let's go back to tomorrow morning and let's check out our waves, right? Waves are always important when we're looking. And again, folks, remember, this is just a forecast. It will change. Like last week, you know, Sunday was looking a tad bit bumpy, but as the week progressed, we had Sunday got better and better and better. And I went out there and it was like a darn lake. So, you know, it was great, you know, get out on the reef, do a little bit of that stuff, you know. Unfortunately, we've got our tiles in closing here come next Tuesday. So this week is our last week here, folks. Get them tile fish, and then you'll be out till next year. All right. So our waves right here, Tri-County area tomorrow, 3-foot waves period. In the Keys, let's see, the Keys, they're 2-foot at 3-second period. Up in the Vero area, we're looking at 3-foot. So 3-foot, 3-foot, all up and down the coast, not real bad. Looking the same tomorrow afternoon, not much of a difference, right? Tri-County 3-foot seas at a 4-second. So remember, when your period is shorter, that's what creates chop and makes the boat go up and down. That makes it a little bumpy. If you've got a longer period, those waves tend to be more like a swell, and you just kind of roll over. Thursday, 3-foot. Looks like it picks up actually because the screen got a little darker. 4-second period. The Keys, yeah, same thing. There, it's 3-foot. So we're going to call it 2 to 4 for the next couple of days. Come Friday, it stays about the same. It's still the same. 3-foot, 3-foot, 4 seconds, all up and down. You know, Everglades National Park and all that looks really light, which is light stuff. Up in Naples. You know, the whole thing out in the state waters in the Gulf, it's 2-foot. So that's actually sizable for them because there's not a lot of water to move. So to get 2-foot waves in very skinny water they're going to have a little bit of bump going on out there, more so than the stuff that the East used to. All right. Yes. Freezing up, doing it. Yes. There we go. Yep, I told you. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on the Wi-Fi extender. They actually sell a thing. So my router, because I'm far away, I'm on a PC with the little antenna thing that plugs into a USB port and says, hey, you got internet. Anyway, back to it, man. We're rolling along right here. We're got a phone call that I'm not answering. Good. Let's continue with our weather. Okay. Friday afternoon, 2-foot. So it looks like it lightens up, right? So we said, hey, Friday in the afternoon, our weather's going to start lightening up. So let's look at what's going to happen Saturday. Again, so starting Friday, the weather calms down a little bit. The Upper Keys, they're still at the 3-foot, mark with the 4-second period. Tri-County areas, 2-foot. Up in Vero, Port St. Lucie area, they got 2-foot at a 7-second period. So they're looking a little bit more swelly than the, Tri-County area. Saturday afternoon, looks like we're calming down. Not much of a difference here, 1 foot. So again, we're going to let down. And like I said, Sunday's looking like the best of the days. 1 foot at a 5-second period. Be good. I'm going to be out of town this weekend, helping my daughter move. I wish I could go fishing, but hey, let me know how it works out for everyone, because it's looking great on Sunday. Get out there, get it done. The Keys are looking at 2-foot seas, 3 and 4 foot, 3 and 4 second periods. The period here's 5 second. 1 foot waves at a 5-second period is great. St. Lucie area, 1 foot waves at a 7-second period. It's going to look like a lake up there. So they're going to have the time of their lives. All right, let's see. Sunday afternoon, same thing. 1 foot waves, still not much changes. 1 foot wave, 5 seconds. Let's check out same thing. So into Monday, Sunday into Monday, it's looking great. 1 foot, even there in the Keys, they're still there at that 2 foot stuff. But Key Largo, you got to expect that sort of stuff down there. The further north you go, they get into the consistent 1 foot area. All right. Tuesday morning, same thing, light work. So that's what we're looking at, folks. Like I said, Friday afternoon, it's going to start calming down into the early days of Monday. Looking the best for those of you that can get out on the weekend. Heading into early next week, looks great for those of you that have availability during the week. All right, so let's take a look at our rain now. Like I said, we've got, if we go up north, you've got the invest, right, which is going to create a ton of rain in here. So it's going to head overland. So this is tomorrow morning. So this will be our area of low pressure by the morning. And again, it's going to draw a ton of moisture with it. So over the next couple of days, we're going to see all this moisture come up from the southeast and follow that storm. Like I said, it's all looking all day tomorrow, Thursday morning, still dragging a little bit of moisture with it. Elevated chances, after the afternoon, we still got the onshore breeze. Friday is when it starts drying out, right? And then our wind starts letting loose. Friday afternoon, not even much stuff. Saturday is where we really start seeing the dry stuff. Of course, in the afternoon, you're going to get your little shower here or there. That's the time of year it is. Sunday, dry in the morning, looking good, right, folks? So Sunday is that day for the weekend, folks. And then heading into Monday, we're still looking to be dried out a little bit of stuff over the Bahamas, not much. That's way offshore. It's 50 miles away. And then in the afternoon, we've, a little bit of onshore stuff wanting to come onshore. So maybe a spotty shower or two. The Keys are going to be cloudy and all that goodness. Not much you can do about that. Tuesday morning, looking at the return of our typical weather pattern. Got moisture out over the ocean in the morning, and then come the afternoon, it'll build up, but it looks like it wants to stay offshore. So, it's not very atypical, but remember, we're heading into the time where the storms, these tropical developments are going to happen. All right, so that's that, folks. Let's head off to that one. Now we're going to look at WindFINDER, which is the numerical version of just went through. Tend to jive sometimes, but they don't. So when they don't, we gotta make the best educated guess we can and go forward from there. So tomorrow, right, we're looking at southeast winds, high double digits, right, because of this storm. Moisture in the morning, not bad, and they're saying 4 to 5 foot seas. So this is completely not agreeing with that, whatever they were saying, 3 foot seas with a 4-second period. So you've got webcams, you've got inlet cams, you've got beach cams. Use those if you're heading out over these next couple of days to make a safety call. We're going to call it on that. Make sure that the inlets aren't crazy and that your vessel, whatever it may be, you can handle it. Same thing Thursday and coming in Friday, it lowers down. So their Friday forecast is not looking like what Windy had said, where it wants to lay down. Friday, they're saying it's still going to stay steady. 2 to 4 foot seas, 5-second period, not very choppy, but still windy and cloudy. So, miserable out there. Thursday in the middle of the day, we're looking like a fair amount of rain happening. Saturday, the wind starts to come from the east. Sunday is where we saw it lowers down, right? So these next couple of days were a little bit off, but heading into the weekend, the two forecasts stop conflicting and they tend to jive with each other as we see our wind speeds lower from, mid to high double digits to lower and to single digits into Sunday, where your seas tend to be, 1 to 2 foot seas with a 7-second period. So that period is going to increase, which means it'll be nice and it'll be a simulated swell, which will be nice. Heading into Monday and Tuesday, the weather stays the same. The period stays the same, not very much bad. Your winds are coming from the south. They're a little multi-directional on Monday, not bad. That can mess up your reef fish and bite, but hey, still nothing detrimental. Cloudy, not very much sun. Come Tuesday, it looks like rain. So Monday's looking good. Tuesday, they're calling for rain and into Wednesday also. So, just bear that in mind. If you, you got the availability during the week to get out. Tuesday, just keep an eye on the forecast. Remember, folks, forecasts change all the time, and that's what these are. They're just forecasts, but they give you a good idea to help you plan your next move. All right, so that's that. Now let's take a look at our moon phase. Right, we just had the full moon pass, and good for wahoo fishing, bad for pelagic fishing. Makes snapper fishing tough. Some fishing the full moon for the snappers, and they do really well. Other people, bomb out when it comes to it. Me, when the full moon happens, my snapper fishing is way off the mark. So I tend to go when there's less pulling out. But, when I head towards the full moon, I go mackerel fishing because they tend to feed good when you've got that full moon, regardless of what's happening at night with their feeding. Hey, Chloe, there she is. How you doing, Chloe? I talked about you a little bit. Oh, yeah, I said we're coming up to move you this weekend. So I won't be fishing in. It's good weather. Anyway, so our moon, right now we are waning. Waning means you're heading towards the dark side of the moon. Waxing means you're heading towards the full moon. So right now today we're at 75% waning, and it's only going to get darker. This is tomorrow, Wednesday, 65%, Thursday, 54%, Friday, 43%. Wait, am I on the right day? Yes, 50, yes. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're at 1%, Sunday, 21%, Monday, 13%. So midweek, we're looking at a new moon, right? Chloe says she's good, just got off work and getting ready for her trip to Vegas. Going to a conference to, I'm not quite sure what. Save the world from outer space. Anyway, so we're heading towards the dark side of the moon come this weekend. Remember, I prefer less illumination from the moon. It makes it so that your bait fish are not sitting targets all night, and the pelagics can get out there and feed healthy during the day instead of gorging all night and chasing down, basically doing target practice. While those fish are, thinking they're hiding under the cover of darkness, they're not. And as the moon gets darker, remember, that's when bait fishermen get out there and they do their thing. They go out and they get the goggle eyes, the thread fins, whatever it might be, the sardine. They bite better at night under the cover of darkness. That's when they fish for them. They don't do it. You're not going to go out and catch, 10 dozen goggle eyes during the day. It's not going to happen. All right, so that's our moon phase, right? We're heading towards the dark side of the moon. All right. Now, finally, we're going to do our tide phases for those. Hey, we're back. Chloe says they're freezing up. Yes. Too bad you can't see all the other. I finally figured out how to make the comments. That's one of the perks of paying for it. Anyway, all right. Tide charts, right? Tide charts are very important, especially for you folks that fish from land, folks that fish the flow out of inlets. It's very important. If you fish the tide out of an inlet, you have to have the outgoing tide from high tide to low tide. High tide to low tide. If you fish the incoming tide, and I see this all the time, especially when I'm leaving the inlet, you've got an incoming tide and people fishing, you're going to catch nothing. I wish I could just spread this knowledge and yell at everybody and have them not think I'm crazy, but you're not going to catch nothing on an incoming tide on a jetty from an inlet. You have to have the outgoing tide. The outgoing tide pushes out all the sediment, the phosphorescence, the phytoplankton, the microorganisms, the chlorophyll, everything. And the little fish come in, they feed on that, and then the big fish come in and feed on the little fish. That is the cycle of life when it comes to fishing an inlet and the tides. That's why tide is important if you're doing that sort of fishing, right? Especially the land-based guys. The guys out on the boat, hey, if you're trying to do it right out in front of an inlet, if you're, reef fishing, you're anchored up, you're chumming, if you're drifting, if you're jigging, if you're trolling by it, trying to get a hookup with, the wahoo or whatever it might be that's feeding off the water flow, it's got to be the outgoing tide. The incoming tide doesn't do jack diddly for you. All right, so let's look at tomorrow. We are at the end of the outgoing tide as the sun comes up. In the afternoon, not so bad. Now remember, what's very important about these tide cycles is it has to match the time of day also. If you've got an outgoing tide in the middle of the day, that's going to be ineffective. Fish aren't really feeding like that. Fish feed in the morning better and at dusk better. So just consider that when you are examining your tide charts and trying to make a decision of if you're going to fish that water flow. If it's something that you're not dialed in on, go do something else. Find your reefs, find your wrecks, head offshore, go do some tuna fishing, which is pretty much blind trolling or blind fishing until the tuna come up and bite. It's very hard to find a spot. Anyway, Thursday, we're about, just past the 2/3 mark of the tide going out. So you still have a little bit of tide pull as the sun is coming up. In the afternoon, 6 o'clock-ish, you can get out there and fish the afternoon, but it's better as dusk goes on. Friday, we're about 2/3 of the way, so you got a little bit more. Saturday, it's looking better for both of the sunrise and the sunset is looking the time to do it, and Sunday will be even better. So Sunday and Monday, those 2 nice days, the tide's going to be in your favor to fish right out in front of those inlets. Get out there and fish the jetties if you're land-based and make it happen and bring something home. Remember, folks, not trying to put anybody in their place, but you cannot fish the incoming tide from an inlet. It won't work. All right. So that about does it for that one, right? All right, folks. So it's been epic here. Before we get out of here, right? Only got a few screen freezes up today. If you're in the market for, some fishing apparel, urge you, go check out our sponsor, WindRider. Why is it not pulling up? Let's see what we got going on now. What's an aneurysm feel like? So you see the little thing thinking. It's loading slowly but sure. It's not loading at all, man. It just all right, forget it. If you want a shirt, check out the link in the description for WindRider. That's our sponsor. They make great shirts. They make those. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Look, oh, that's right. We get comments over here. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're here about trying to have a little bit of fun and keep people. Is the lagoon affected by the outgoing tides? Well, if you're yes, it's the same thing that for folks that are fishing like the Intracoastal or Lake Boca or anything like that, right? The outgoing tide is what pushes all those fish out. When you got the incoming tide, it does different things. You're not going to get that bite. If you're in a lagoon that is near a jetty or an inlet that's taking on that outgoing tide, yes, you'll want to fish the outgoing tide. If it's further in, it tends to not make a difference. Like, there's areas that are just so far away from the inlets that water flow tends to not matter. But what you need to catch fish, regardless, it always helps, is water flow. So if you're at a slack tide, it's going to make the fishing tough. But let's say your lagoon is a mile or two inland, and it's protected. That water flow that's happening by an inlet, it isn't doing anything. So just think of it that way. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. All right, that's it, folks. We'll get to the sponsor eventually. WindRider, right? UPF 50 shirts, hoodies, everything. But for right now, we're gonna still the same thing. Anyway, that's it, folks. Can't win. Anyway, I was going to tell you all, join South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report on Facebook. I can't bring it up right now. I can't do nothing. We've had a great show, a little bit of improvements here and a little bit of moving backwards. Again, we're going to fix all this hopefully by next week. So, yeah. Hey, hope you really. Never mind. If you're in Facebook, folks, join South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. It's what drives this show weekly, Tuesday, every week. I make every Monday. I put out a little memo that says, "Hey, show us what you caught." If you caught it, you go on there. You put on your picture. If you put your picture on there, you're guaranteed to be showcased, and you have a chance of being the thumbnail for the weekly live stream. So get out there, post a picture, say something a little bit about it. Nobody's asking for your spots or your secrets. Just have some good old-fashioned family fun, right? Get out there and do it. South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. It looks like this minus the date. Go up there. It's a private group. We don't want bots, right? We want real people. So you got to answer a couple of questions. The questions are, what's your favorite fish to catch, and do you abide by the rules? The fish is easy. The rules are easy too. No selling crap. I had to remove quite a few posts this week. One guy, I had seen him posting on everything. The Boynton one, the South Florida fishing one, the deep drop one. He's posting, selling gaffs and stuff. Listen, no, can't do it. I can't. I'm not going to let one person do it and let it. No. Fishing pictures. Same thing. No posting your YouTube videos. We got Jason Reese. He posts all of his submissions, and he's got 100,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. He's a great guy, great dad, everything. Doesn't post his YouTube videos. Respects the rules, and hey, it is what it is. Like I said, I just don't want this to become what it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a fishing report. I'm going to go with that. All right, folks, that about does it for this episode. Hope you had fun. I did overcome some problems and everything like that. So, yeah, till next Tuesday, South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. Go wherever